Yes, finally. Okay, very nice. So nice to see you, all of you. A lot of people from different countries today here with us. So I hope you will like the presentation. At least I'm very excited about what I'm going to show you today, and I'm sure you will be also interested after this presentation to test ENCY Tuner yourselves. So I will switch to the screen and start my presentation. Yeah, okay. So before I will start showing you the ENCY Tuner itself, I would like to put you in some context. Okay, so for better understanding and for better and having the whole picture of where the ENCY Tuner is and what role it plays in the main in the whole picture and the whole idea. So, and I will start with a short presentation about ENCY concept, and then I will open ENCY Tuner window and make some kind of masterclass. Please take into account that this is not a training session, okay, it's a presentation. As for training sessions, we are planning to release videos, okay, separate videos for ENCY Tuner. Now I will show you just the basic idea so that you can install ENCY Tuner yourself and start testing it, checking it yourself, and making some projects inside ENCY Tuner and exploring it. So, what's ENCY? Okay. When we speak about ENCY, everything starts from the vision of our company. And our vision is to create a seamless CAD/CAM workflow, which results in transition from design to finished parts in the shortest turnaround time in the industry. Okay, so what is the main word here? And for us, the main word in the whole vision is, of course, time. Okay, because the tools which we provide to our customers are helping them to save time, to be faster, to be more efficient, and to have more efficient business in terms of manufacturing. Second most important statement in this in our vision is that we are not speaking about only CAD/CAM software and creating ENCY programs in CAD/CAM software, but visualizing our role in the industry. We say that we provide tools to create a seamless workflow from CAD to finished part, which means actually our sphere of interests, okay, involve actually running the CNC machine, not only creating ENCY programs in the CAD/CAM workflow. Okay, now let's take a look at a little bit about what we are focused on. Of course, we are a CAD/CAM software developer. Nothing changed here. Okay, we are focused on CAD/CAM software, and maybe 85% of our effort and resources are involved in CAD/CAM software development. But let's take a look at our typical customer and see how it corresponds to our vision. So this is our typical customer, yeah, CAD/CAM programmer. So we provide him with the ENCY CAM software, and he's good. Okay, we believe that our CAD/CAM software is more than good. Okay, and this guy is really happy, and he doesn't have any big problems. And if he needs to make some finished parts, yeah, of course he can go. If he's alone, he can also run these ENCY programs on his own machine, and this also works without any issues. Okay, but what happens if the office where CAD/CAM programmer is sitting and the shop floor where the machines are standing are separated? Not only separated, I mean in space, but also what if there are different people? Situation becomes interesting because CAD/CAM programmer is creating an ENCY code and provides an ENCY code. Says, okay, here is ENCY code, but machine operator is responsible for the machine. I mean, the machine is very complex, very expensive, and machine operator's reality is a little bit different. He receives some files with ENCY code and cannot run these ENCY code files without checking them and simulating them, checking what's there in ENCY code file before running the machine. The machine is very expensive, so you'd better check everything many times before you hit the actual play button on the machine. So he says, I must check it first, your ENCY code. And what if there is one CAD/CAM programmer and many operators? Okay, situation becomes even more interesting, because if there is one CAD/CAM programmer and one operator, they can meet and fine-tune the ENCY code very fast. But what if there are like 7, for example, CNC machines, several operators, and one CAD/CAM programmer? He cannot go to every machine operator, because he will spend a lot of time at the shop floor, and instead of creating ENCY programs in the CAD/CAM software, he will go and work with machine operators by the machines, which is not the most effective approach. And if there are many CAD/CAM programmers and many machine operators, I mean, the enterprise is bigger than a typical small, like medium size, for example, enterprise, then the chaos become to dominate in this situation. For this situation, we came with a solution, okay? And instead of providing a CAD/CAM system, okay, we provide a CAD/CAM ecosystem, which means that besides the CAD/CAM software, now we have some other parts which together comprise the ecosystem. Yeah, the main word here is difference between CAD/CAM system and ecosystem. So what do we add on top of CAD/CAM software? And if you take a look at the typical workflow from CAD to finished parts, then there is always something in between the output of ENCY code from CAD/CAM software and running this ENCY code on the real machine, which involves editing, simulation, optimizing, collision detection, maybe some changes in the G code or ENCY code before running this ENCY code on the machine, or industrial robot in our case. Okay, what I'm telling today is also working for industrial robots. Please take it into account. And we came with a solution which is called ENCY Tuner. Okay, ENCY Tuner is a shop floor ENCY code simulation software which is meant for machine operator. Now the machine operator is supplied with ENCY Tuner, and both of our customers or users, CAD/CAM programmer and machine operator, are supplied with our software, which are compatible. These applications are compatible between each other and provide a proper workflow. But what else can we put in this ecosystem to make it even more effective? Even if a CAD/CAM programmer has his CAD/CAM software and machine operator has his shop floor simulation software, there is still a process which is involving communication between CAD/CAM programmer and machine operator. And in this case, they will send each other the files, the project files, the ENCY code, maybe post-processors or maybe something else, and also should communicate maybe by the phone or maybe in the chat. And for this process, to make it more effective, we created a cloud collaboration platform. Okay, speaking of cloud collaboration, I know that a lot of people are skeptical about cloud collaboration stuff because of how the big corporations approach this idea. They are pushing you to store all your projects in the cloud and work only with the cloud. This is not our approach. And don't worry, we will not push you to the cloud. Still, the typical traditional workflow when you save your projects on the hard drives remains unobstructed. Cloud collaboration is parallel. So you can choose between normal workflow or cloud workflow without any intention to push you to the cloud from our side. Okay, having this in mind, so let's take a look at what our workflow looks like now. Let's say CAD/CAM programmer is creating an ENCY code. And instead of sending just an ENCY code file and setup sheet to the machine operator, he is sending the full project to the machine operator to the shop floor. And thanks to compatibility between ENCY and ENCY Tuner, machine operator is able to just open the project in ENCY Tuner and watch the full simulation without spending time on creating this project. And this project is transferred between ENCY and ENCY Tuner via cloud. So you don't have to save it to hard drive, send it through the cloud, some storage, or take a flash card or whatever you need, and physically transition this project file to the machine operator. And on top of that, besides the transition of files between CAD/CAM programmer and machine operator, we also organize the chat, which is also available on the mobile phone or directly on the desktop. So you don't have to use some third-party software, for example, for remote control of operator screen, for sending pictures, videos, making video calls. Everything is embedded in the chat, so it's a feature-rich chat. You can use it directly from our software, and this all comprises the ecosystem. And if we take a look at a bigger picture, now we connect all the participants, CAD/CAM programmers, CAD/CAM engineers, maybe some CAD/CAM experts, with robot operators and machine operators. Everyone is supplied with the software, corresponding software, and everything is connected with the cloud collaboration. Okay. So this is the idea of ENCY. We call it ENCY X, X for experience, and we say that ENCY X is a CAD/CAM ecosystem built to transform the way you work. So now let's take a look at the components. Really quickly, I will go through the components of ENCY X platform. And what is the ecosystem? What are the products? So first, ENCY CAD/CAM software for a new generation. I'm sure you, maybe not all of you, but many of you know it already. Please take a chance to also, if you haven't tested it yet or haven't tried it yet, please take a chance to download a free 30 days trial version on our website. This is not our topic today, so I will just go through really fast. So with ENCY, we cover all possible applications for a CAD/CAM software for CNC machines. We also we also make a lot of effort and to create a really good user interface and provide proper user experience, because it's also efficiency in terms of time for creation ENCY programs. Yeah, we have a really solid CAD/CAM platform. Important to say that with ENCY CAD/CAM software, we have only our own developed algorithms and kernel and the key functions. Everything is proprietary. We are not using any third-party algorithms. This is completely our development. ENCY is featuring machine-aware technology, which means basically taking into account machine kinematics while toolpath calculation. It's a different topic. I will not spend time on it today. Maybe if you like, we will make a separate webinar about ENCY. ENCY has always featured very profound and serious simulation engine. Second product I would like to mention today is ENCY Robot. It's a complete offline robot programming solution. So it's a CAD/CAM software focused on offline robot programming. You maybe some of you are already familiar. So the main difference with the CAD/CAM software for CNC machines is that for robots programming, we should add on top of typical CAD/CAM software special tools for handling robot kinematics. Because robots have redundant axes, you may have like at least 6 axes, but very often you have 7, 8, 10 axes in your robotic cell, and you have to manage all of them. So we provide tools for this. Yeah, the same simulation like in ENCY. Here are the main applications which we provide solutions in. And now ENCY Tuner. Okay, ENCY Tuner is a shop floor ENCY code simulation software. So the recipe for ENCY Tuner was we took ENCY simulation engine, with G-code-based operation. I am sure if you have been using our software before, you know what's a G-code-based simulation. Basically, this is an operation where you can insert any ENCY code and simulate it in ENCY. We took also all interpreters and post-processors, and on top of that, we developed an ENCY code editor and put it in the completely new interface, because the workflow is in ENCY Tuner is different. So we have to develop a new workflow, a new interface corresponding to the workflow, so it's proper interface. Okay. So here are the highlights of ENCY Tuner. I will show you some of them today during live demo. Let's take a look at ENCY Tuner. So first, let me switch. Here's the interface. Okay, and the easiest thing you can do in ENCY Tuner is to load some ENCY code and quickly preview what you have in your ENCY code. Let's go through interface elements really quickly so that you understand how it works. But first, I will load some ENCY code so that we are looking not on the empty screen, but on some kind of screen. So let me also define the interpreter, and I will explain you what's happening in a minute. Okay. So ENCY Tuner is not a CAD/CAM software, so we don't have a toolpath calculation here. It's very important to understand. The main idea is that we are taking an ENCY code as an input information and visualize this ENCY code in many ways. So the easiest one is you just import ENCY code, interpret this ENCY code, and you have it on the screen. Okay, on the left, I have my ENCY code always. This is the Explorer when you can put more ENCY code files. And besides importing ENCY code file, I must define the interpreter. Interpreter is some code which is doing something opposite to the post processor. So it's taking, let's say in this particular case, a FANUC ENCY code and creates our internal code for simulation. Okay. So now you can just define the interpreter, import any of your ENCY code, and see it on the screen. But of course, it's the simplest thing. What's happening and what else do we have here? Let me explain. Here we have two tabs, okay? One for edit, second for setup. So let's take a look first at what we have on top and what we have at the bottom. On top, we have a kind of CAM tree. It's not the typical operations of the CAD/CAM software. Actually, all of these elements are G-code-based operation, I told you before. Okay, and the ENCY code which you input as a one file, upon import, must be split into these separate elements or sections, and it is automatically split by tool change. And you can see here is the 40mm mill, this is a 16mm, and so on. So automatically upon import, ENCY code is divided into parts, which we call operations in ENCY Tuner, by tool. Okay, so here you can see this is a tool change, so this is the beginning of this particular operation. And now you can go through them and see what you have in any of them. Here on top, we have a split button. So you can do a split manually, but when you import an ENCY code file, it starts splitting automatically. After splitting, you should push run program. What is run? Is actually calculating the visual toolpath which we use for simulation. So all in all, the workflow of ENCY Tuner is first you import the ENCY code, you define the interpreter, check that your split is okay, and then run program to create a toolpath on the screen. That's it. After you did these simple actions, you can start working with your ENCY code. Okay, I will show it you in a minute, but let's now switch to a different workflow, a different scenario, because it's more interesting that we would not look only on the ENCY code on the screen, but we will also take a look at the full project. So, based on ENCY code, you can create a full project. What is full project comparing to a simple ENCY code preview? The full project is actually the machine, the setup, the tools, the part, the workpiece, and everything what you have in ENCY, you can recreate in ENCY Tuner. But the most interesting thing is that thanks to native compatibility between ENCY and ENCY Tuner, you just can import ENCY project, which I will do right now. So I will open ENCY project. Sorry, we have to wait a little bit, but yeah, here we have it. So what's this? These are the operations. The names of operations are something similar to what you are used to in CAM software, in ENCY. But all of these operations are also not a normal operations, but a G-code-based operation. So we don't have toolpath calculation here. We only work with ENCY code, which was generated in the project. And you can see now I have my machine here, but also I have the fixture, I have the workpiece. And now what can I do is I can just make a full simulation like normally, like usual. Sorry, I forgot to press run program, of course. Okay, now I can simulate. So now we are simulating ENCY code, which we received from ENCY. Or you can create this project inside ENCY Tuner. It's not necessary to import projects only from ENCY. And all the simulation features which we have in ENCY are available in ENCY Tuner. For example, you can use verify compare tool, collision detection. Everything is the same. So this is how we think a proper ENCY code simulation must be performed before running the ENCY code on the machine. On the left, you can see the ENCY code, which is simulated at the moment. And on the right, we can see how the simulation works. Let me... Okay. So, let's take a look at the editor. Simple thing we can do. For example, let me turn off the visibility of everything except for the part. The simplest thing we can do is, for example, here we have this face milling operation. I will select it like this on the left. And now I can make changes. Okay, what I can do with the editor. I can change block numbers, remove, renumber. I can add, insert, or remove strings. This is a simple, not a text editor, but an editor of ENCY code, so we can change how your ENCY code looks like. Maybe the most interesting thing here is that we can transform the toolpath, and I will do exactly the transformation. So what I will do is I will add Z level to the Z level of this face milling operation 0.5 millimeters. So I have selected this operation on the left and just insert the desired value here and press apply. Now you see my operation is not calculated, so my project is not calculated. I will calculate it. Okay, and now I can see that here is the 0.5 millimeter stock which I have added to the face milling operation. What's important here that thanks to machine aware platform, we instantly can see the possible problems which we have. And we can see now we have a problem, access travel over the limits. And I can see, okay, this is G53, this is a tool change command. And of course, this machine cannot go in the positive Z. So I will just delete this and remain here. So that make sure that Z remains 0 here. And recalculate. Now everything is green. And now I can simulate to check what happens again. So this is how you can work with ENCY code directly in ENCY Tuner without going to CAD/CAM software. Of course, you can make only simple changes of the ENCY code. It's not a CAD/CAM software for toolpath calculation, but you can see now we have some stock on top of the workpiece. So the face milling operation was not is now different. Okay, so the Z level is different in the face milling operation. Nice. Let's switch to the presentation. Yeah, you can import ENCY project. I showed it. Yeah, the most interesting, possibly the most interesting case, which I would like to show is ENCY code reengineering. What's that? Let's say you have some legacy ENCY code library from a different CAD/CAM software. With ENCY Tuner, you can create a project without a CAD/CAM software, just with ENCY code. Put your machine, tools, parts, workpiece, fixtures, everything in the project. Import ENCY code and simulate it. Make some changes. But what if it's not enough? What if, for example, some roughing up waterline operation in your legacy ENCY code is really, really bad and you have to recalculate it? So the basic option is that you have to create this project from zero, okay? Because you cannot, normally you cannot change, make these serious changes with ENCY Tuner or some simple whatever ENCY code editing functions, and you have to go to the CAD/CAM software and create everything from scratch. Now this is not necessary, so let me show you how it works. I have ENCY here, and let me just import ENCY Tuner project. So what's happening here is that this is not a typical ENCY project. It's an ENCY Tuner project, which means every operation is a G-code based operation here, which contains some third-party, for example, G-code. If I go to simulation and expand, I can see. Let me turn on the G-code based simulation. We have to wait a little bit for ENCY code generation. So you see, this is the ENCY code. Okay, so this project is not based on the native ENCY toolpath calculation, but it's based on some third-party ENCY code. What I can do now, let's say, for example, I want to change this operation from adaptive to traditional, equidistant, or whatever. I can just disable this operation, create a new one, and say, okay, for this operation, I will just quickly add some parameters. This will be my restriction zone. This will be my bottom level, and I just calculate the toolpath. Okay, now you see this is the equidistant toolpath. It's different from what we had before. What's interesting is that now ENCY toolpath toolpath generated by ENCY is now combined with some other ENCY code which we have received from different CAM software. After I save this project, I can import it back to ENCY Tuner. Okay. Let's run the program here and see what we have. Okay, now we can see that our toolpath is for roughing waterline is different from the first project, and this is the toolpath which we received from ENCY. You can do it for many applications. For example, you want to change the drill hole drilling cycle, or change some elements on the part, whatever. So this is the G-code reengineering. In our opinion, the main area of application for G-code reengineering is for the situation when you need to switch from different third-party CAD/CAM software to ENCY Ecosystem, and you would like to preserve your legacy ENCY code. Let's say you have 500 programs created in some other CAD/CAM software. You don't want to lose all this work, so you create ENCY Tuner projects for this ENCY code, and you use ENCY for partial recalculation of this ENCY code, so you can continue working with your legacy ENCY code without doing the projects from the very beginning, and this will also be a huge time saver, and it will be easier to transition from other CAD/CAM software with this scenario. Yes, I was already showed you the native compatibility, so you can import ENCY projects in ENCY Tuner, and back you can import ENCY Tuner projects in ENCY. Okay, maybe the most important topic, or maybe the something which is also we were not talking before very much, is the interpreters. So as you understand, ENCY Tuner works based on interpreters. This is something which is working here instead of a post-processor in the CAD/CAM software. This is the list of interpreters we have right now. We are working on interpreters constantly to make this list bigger and bigger. These interpreters are also available for dealers to make changes and fine-tuning. What you can see here is a list of interpreters for robots, and I know there are questions about robots, so let me show you the application of ENCY Tuner for robots, and then we continue with interpreters. So thanks to the fact that our platform works with both CNC machines and robots, you can also work with robots in ENCY Tuner. What I would like to tell you, so what you can do basically, the same things like you do with CNC machines, you can do with robots in ENCY Tuner. Probably the most important thing here I would like to mention is that, of course, robots programming is different from CNC machines, and probably you need to change the kinematics behavior of the robot while you're making changes in the ENCY code. This is not allowed in ENCY Tuner for kinematics management tools. Please install ENCY Robot, and you need to have ENCY Robot. Okay, so here you can just simulate your ENCY code. Not an ENCY code, actually it's a robot program. In this particular case it's a KUKA robot, but we have interpreters for other robots too. In case you are interested, do we have a robot axis map here no, we don't have it. So you can still make some flips, for example, of the joints, or make some minor changes, but you don't have a robot access map here, so you cannot optimize robot kinematics. This is part of ENCY Robot and the part of robot programming, actually, not the simulation, from our point of view. So here we have the same, the project, which is divided into operations. All operations are G-code based operations or control program based operations in this particular case. So this is how it looks for robots. Please refer to user manual. Let me show it really quickly. So if you open our website, I will show you it now. In the support section, you can see ENCY Tuner user manual. In the ENCY Tuner user manual, you can find a list of interpreters, which I was showing you. And also, please refer to ENCY Tuner user manual to find whatever you need to understand how it works. And also, in our support section, we have interpreter development guide. So you can create your own interpreters. I would say that it's more complex process than writing post-processors. So probably the more skills here are required. That's why we are also developing interpreters ourselves and hoping to provide interpreters for every particular situation. Okay. Yes. Okay, let me show you one more thing I would like to show you before we go to the questions section. So let me close everything here. I don't need these projects. Yeah, let's create a new project and see what we can do with setups. So basic workflow, when you have an ENCY code and you don't have the project, right? For example, you have some ENCY code from other CAD/CAM software. How do you create a project for your ENCY code in ENCY Tuner? Basically, the workflow is the same like in ENCY. For this, we have a setup folder here. First of all, as always, you choose the machine. Let's say I will use a 3-axis machine. So here you have part, you have workpiece, you have fixtures definition, everything the same like in ENCY. You can create setup stages, you can create parts for multi-part projects, you can create G-code based operations to split your ENCY code to different operations if you want to do it manually. So for example, I have created, one more important thing is we also have the same tool table like we have in ENCY. They are also compatible, so you can create a setup for your machine and use it multiple times. Let me show you. Yeah, it's asking me the setup file has different machine. Do you want to continue loading it? Yes, I want. But let me better start the project with this setup file so that also the machine is used from the setup file. So what's setup file? Setup file is everything from the project besides operations and part and workpiece. So the machine setup information is saved also in the setup file, tools, fixtures, everything you need to simulate your ENCY code is saved into setup file. So now you can see I have the setup for my part which I was showing you before. These are two different setup stages. You can see G54 and G55, and all the workpiece setup definition is also saved here. So I can just import ENCY code and press run. sorry, first apply split and run. Okay, and I have my ENCY code simulated not in the like just white space, but in the environment of a particular setup with the particular tools. You see the project tools are here, so all of them are defined. So once you have a setup file, for example, you have several machines, you create setup files for them and use them to create ENCY Tuner projects really fast. Okay, so you can work with your legacy ENCY code with setup files, creating these ENCY Tuner projects at a very high speed. So you don't have to create everything from scratch every time. Just create a setup file, import your ENCY code file, and you get an ENCY Tuner project. Okay, and before we go to the section of questions and answers, I would like to show you also two tools which are specific for ENCY Tuner, which are also important. Okay, number one, let's say you have some ENCY code. You can import another ENCY code file, and now you have compare function. So all the differences between two imported ENCY code files are highlighted, so you can compare your ENCY files very fast. Second thing which also I like very much is the post-processing function. So ENCY Tuner can post-process your ENCY code for different CNC machine or CNC control. For example, here I have ENCY code for FANUC. I will just define the post-processor. Let's say I want to see numeric post-processor. And now I will just open the post-processor window. It's the same post-processor window like we have in ENCY, so everything is very familiar for you. And just press run. Yeah, I will create the folder. And now, sorry, I need to calculate it first, of course. Okay. And now I have my ENCY code for numeric CNC control. So you can change, repost-process or reprocess your ENCY code also without creating the whole project from scratch, which is also a huge time saver. For example, you have a program for one machine which was created for one machine, and with setup files and with post-processing and in ENCY Tuner, you can adapt this ENCY code for different machine, not only blind post-processing, but also with a full simulation so that you are sure that everything is correct and collision-free. That's it. And I'm ready to answer the questions from the chat. So please write your questions. Yeah, while you're writing questions, I would like to say that ENCY Tuner is also available as a 30-day trial version on the website encycam.com. Please take a look at yourself and test it yourself. Try creating projects. We are very interested in your experience and your feedback. Okay, the question about additive jobs. Will it simulate also additive jobs? The idea is yes. Actually, maybe we did not test it very much at the moment, but yes, of course, we have a full ENCY simulation engine in ENCY Tuner, so it also will simulate additive without any limitations. Not only additive, but also hybrid manufacturing, so you can create additive and then subtractive simulation in ENCY Tuner, no problem. How to make your own interpreters, we will check the guide. Thank you, Christian. Maybe something is broken, but yeah, we have a guide which is explaining how to make your own interpreters. We will include it into the email which will follow the webinar with the record. You will have all the links to all the manuals, so you can check yourself the guides and try to make changes in the existing interpreters or create your own interpreters. Yeah, there was a question about the interface. Why the interface is not the same style as ENCY? We created ENCY Tuner interface in a different way so that you can tell one software from another from a distance. So if ENCY Tuner is launched, you can see that it's white or bright, and you can see that it's ENCY Tuner, not ENCY, like standing from 3 meters from the 3 meters from the screen. But yeah, I think we will synchronize the styling of interface in the future. But now it's not so critical. When is the launch of ENCY Cloud Hyper? Speaking about ENCY Cloud, so right now it's available in ENCY already. It will appear in ENCY Tuner in the update. I think in the nearest update it will already be in ENCY Tuner. Please make sure that you will follow our announcements, because we are going also to make a webinar, a separate webinar about ENCY Clouds with all the demonstration how it works. I think it will be also very interesting. So please wait a little and follow the announcements on our website and emails. Oh, the last question. Can ENCY code from CNC be converted to robot code? Okay, I will stop on this. It's a very good question. The answer is yes and no. Technically, you can post-process ENCY code for CNC into the robot code. But the difference between CNC machines programming and robots programming is that toolpath for robots is not enough. You must also manage robot kinematics to avoid singularities and to optimize robot movements, and especially external axis, for example, some rotary positioners and something like that, or maybe rail. So the behavior of this redundant axis is not defined in the ENCY code, and you have to create rules for this additional axis on top of ENCY code. This is the functionality of ENCY Robot. You cannot do this in ENCY Tuner. So technically, it's better to use ENCY Robot, full ENCY Robot, for generation of programs for robots, not ENCY Tuner. But if you have ENCY Robot and you have proper program for robot, you can simulate a robot program in ENCY Tuner, no problem. Oh, we have more questions. Okay, let me check. Will hand-coded ENCY programs straight from CNC control be able to repost it for other CNC? Yes. Whatever program you have, manual coded or calculated in CAD/CAM software, if you have a file with ENCY code, you can import this ENCY code in ENCY Tuner and post-process it for different CNC control. Doesn't matter where you take this file from, either you create it by hand or you calculate it with CAD/CAM software. Okay. Thank you everyone for a nice feedback. Great job, I can see. Yeah, thank you guys. I hope that you will like ENCY Tuner. Please download the trial version and explore it yourself and ask us questions if you have some. Check the user manual if you have any problems. And we also are planning to issue some proper tutorials for ENCY Tuner in the near future. Okay, so for now, I think we finished. So thank you all for attention and see you on the next webinars.